We should design something to hold your head while you do conferences like this, so you don't have to put your arms. It's just to hold you like this. Some kind of triangular device like this.
Sorry I was late, man. If I tell you what happened, you probably won't believe it, or you'll probably be angry.
Do you have coronavirus, or any of your any members of your family? Then you're not. It's not excusable.
Why would I be angry?
You know how back in the day when you were still living at home and you had to go to school or you had to go to work, and it was like at 9 in the morning, and your body kind of naturally woke up like at 8:50. Like no alarm, nothing. Just instinctively, you jump out of bed and you're like, oh, it's 8:50, and you had to rush to get ready and rush to work. That's what happened. That's
8:50 a.m. unless you're working till midnight is fucking sleeping in.
Dude, I woke
up. George needs to be told to wake up at that time.
8:50, I've had a meeting. I've pretty much done the 2 basic things that I need to do per day.
I've punished both my kids 3 times.
And I'm attacking the day.
You know what happened?
George is waking up.
He's waking, and he's rushing.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
For a 10 a.m. phone conference at the house.
It was 9:15, dude. I jump out of bed and I'm like, oh, what time is it? I'm like, that's impossible. How come everyone is still sleeping? and then I hear like Emma was downstairs, but she was like so quiet. She was probably playing with some stuff, and I can hear her. I look, the little one had come to our bed. She was like passed out. My wife is passed out. I'm like, fuck, how did this happen? So yeah, that's what.
Man, the kids wake up. They wake up early, right? They wake up around 7:30.
Yeah.
So before we go to bed, everything is kind of put in order. Yeah. And by 7:48, it's a mess everywhere. Again.
Yeah.
It's like the same day every day. We live the same day. It's a groundhog.
Same thing.
Yeah, man. It's an obstacle course, my house. I'll send you pictures later. I don't know where to walk. I have no idea where to walk. And and you know what the thing is? I've told you this, guys, before. Doing the podcast at home gave us the perfect excuse to keep the house clean. Because, I would tell my wife, oh, so-and-so is coming, or the guys are coming, we're recording. So like 2 days before, the day before, we'd go through this whole cleaning thing just so the house can look clean.
Shame is such a great motivator, bro.
And now because no one comes over, the house is just upside down. Yeah, we went back to the pre-podcasting days where we really didn't give a shit. We're like, look, we pick it up tomorrow, it's gonna be the same thing, so might as well leave the toys all over the floor.
Yeah, but you guys it's pretty airy, man. If you add all your stuff together, you have 6 things. It's very airy.
Yeah.
It's a minimalist house. It's like nothing. You don't have anything you won't use.
No, I know, but there's a lot of toys that
there's a lot of toys.
I hope we didn't have. Sometimes as we're picking up, I secretly throw a few in the garbage.
Oh yeah, a few.
They don't notice.
I could throw garbage bags in the garbage and they don't know. They don't notice. You know what? They'll notice after 8 months. It's like,
yeah, and they're upset.
Yeah, where's that little thing, Baba?
No.
It happened to me. It's happened to me. You know what I say? I'm like, oh, you probably brought it to your grandmother's house. It's probably there.
That's a good one.
There's that too. Yeah. We have toys in 3 houses.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, you look for it when you go there.
You know what the sad news this week was, guys?
Yeah.
Our cat died.
No.
Man. Hercules.
Yeah, Hercules.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man.
No, man.
It was a sad moment.
Of
Where'd
course.
you guys bury it?
It was sad, and you know what? I went, like, my father called me, and his voice was trembling, and it was like, El Gato. I was like, oh, that's weird. I'm thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he was actually so sad. I think I've seen my dad cry once. I think when my aunt died.
Yeah.
About 25 years ago. And he cried for 6 seconds like this.
Yeah.
And this one, man, he's been sad for like 2 days.
Yeah,
it hit him hard.
Yeah.
He would have his coffee every day with her, play with her every day. And at the beginning, he didn't want it. I remember when we used to live at the house, he didn't want the cat. My mother didn't want the cat either. And now it's like they're mourning. And really,
it becomes a member of the family, man. Whether you like it or not, that thing.
Yeah, big connection. And it's like it's weird how you play all this, like I try to play all the memories I've had with her in the night.
Mm-hmm.
To play, you're trying to play back all the memories you lived with them in a way. And it's sad, and I saw it die. Actually, I went to see it, and it was on the floor. And it's you know what I realized, that it's so weird. Like, there is a soul.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Once it leaves the body, you just see body remains. You know. Yeah. I kind of witnessed that. I felt like, But anyway, I put her on my phone, and
that's.
Where do you think they go?
We're gonna.
Do they really go?
I don't know. You know what I mean? No, you got.
I believe that it ends. All you're left with is the flesh.
But the material part ends. What happens to the spiritual part? Do you think that ends too?
Bro,
it's in you. It's absorbed by you.
It's the biggest question we've been trying to answer for centuries.
No, well, I know why. I know why people want to answer that question, because they can't let go of the feeling.
They want closure.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was the sad news for me this week.
And
I had to go. Yeah, I had to go bury it, and it was tough at the beginning because there's still frost line, right? Everything is frozen, so I couldn't dig, and I'm like, oh no. What am I going to do with it, right? I'm like, I could have thrown it in the garbage.
No, of course not.
And I couldn't go bring it to a service.
Would you put it in the freezer till it thaws?
No. Right away, I found I went in the front where the sun actually hits the soil, so it was a little bit softer. It took a little longer.
So you buried it in the front, not in the back?
Yeah, don't tell anyone.
Well, I think everyone's gonna find it.
A dog's gonna find it.
No. I went deep, but look, she was born there. Actually, I buried her where she was born, where I found her.
Yeah, I remember when you found the cats.
Yeah, I found her, and where she was born, that's where I put her.
That's cool.
That's so funny, man. How long did you have her?
It's not funny, no.
No, it isn't funny. It's just.
Can you tilt your? Are you on a laptop, Chris?
Yeah.
Can you tilt it down, because we're seeing too much of your room on top?
Is it better? Too much now?
High, there.
That's perfect.
Better? Is this good?
Yeah.
You got a good balance now? You're happy? Are you happy? Can you go on with your day?
It's symmetrical.
All right, perfect. Good. I'm happy.
How long did you have her?
15 years.
15 years. 15 years, George. You nailed it.
Wow.
15 years.
I remember we'd go down to that studio, and she'd be in the stairs outside waiting for us to get up.
Love the cat, man. You know, it's your animal, man.
No. It's
your animal. It's a member of the family.
It is.
And we weren't even like, there's crazy cat people, and there's crazy like big time animal lovers that go like over the edge in a way. We weren't that, but man,
she was just coexisting with you guys.
No, you had a pet, man. You had a pet.
Yeah.
This is what a pet owner experiences.
Are you eventually thinking of getting something else for your parents?
I proposed it, and they said no way.
They said no way.
They said no way because they don't want to. I feel like they don't want to relive the disappointment.
I think it's too soon also.
And it's yeah.
Get them a dog.
No. I've said this before. We're too irresponsible to own a dog. It's not, if you give me a dog, it's not fair to the dog. I love dogs.
No, your parents, right?
My parents love dogs. It's just they don't want the responsibility, and I'm not able to come and step in and cover up. I can't do it. I won't do it.
Your dad walks.
Yeah, I know, but he won't pick up the. He won't pick up the.
Can you honestly see his dad picking up the shit off the floor?
Yeah, no, he won't do it. He won't do that.
On a daily basis.
He's telling me that sometimes I don't want to wipe meat. He doesn't want to do it himself. He's not going to go do it for another animal. That's what I'm saying.
Himself.
Well, he won't do it. You know what? I was thinking about it for the kids. Yerasim was old enough now. And maybe it could be his first responsibility. It could be his first test.
The last 2 weeks.
Here, take care of something other than yourself.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you'll probably do it for 2 weeks, and then it's going to fall back on me. And like I said before, it's unfair to the dog for me to be its owner. I love them.
That's how we're supposed to. People who get dogs, that's the way to.
Yeah. Alex, people that buy dogs need not to be selfish. I'm very selfish right now with my work, with me, with what I want to do. I'm too selfish to own a pet.
Yeah, it's a big decision. My daughter kept telling me again, and I've told you guys this before. She keeps coming like every couple of days. She's like, when our fish dies, she goes when it's gonna go up to the sky with the other one, because there were two fish. Right? I didn't know how to explain to him. Like, oh, he went up to the sky. He died, with a bunch of other animals. So she's like, when the other fish goes to the sky with the other one, can we get a dog?
Oh, wow.
I'm like, no, man, no. Because same thing, man. I'm gonna be the one stuck taking care of it,
But she's already contemplating its death. That means she's not too attached to the fish.
But isn't that weird? She's like, okay, man, can we get rid of this one? Come on, I want the next animal.
It's like a toy. It's like a toy, disposable. When this one's done,
it shows that it's momentary.
Yeah, man.
She's like, get rid of the fish and let's get another. And I can't, man. And I think my in-laws too, when she goes over, like they talk about it all the time, and they have a bird or I don't know, and she keeps saying it. It's like, oh yeah, but Yaya and Papu, they said they would get me one, and I'm like, no, they're not. They're not, and they better. And I'm looking at my wife, and I'm like, they better not do something like that without asking us,
George, I think you're gonna talk about it with your wife and your two daughters and your mother-in-law, and you guys are going to compromise, and you're going to get one.
Look, I don't mind, honestly.
You're going to get one, George. No. George, you're going to get one. You're not even going to argue price. You're not even going to argue color.
Look, your situation permits it. It'd be a good situation for a dog.
Look, we have the space we have is just that, man. Look, I grew up.
It needs 2 walks a day.
We didn't have a dog, but my aunt downstairs had a dog, so we kind of lived in that environment.
Your aunt had an 100-pound dog.
Oh, Tsofa.
Remember him? Huge dog.
You get a 15-pound dog, you're not going to have the same issues.
Yeah, but you know what? At the same time, I don't want to get a little fluffy little thing, man.
It's for your kids, remember?
I know, but we're missing testosterone here. I'm going to go get another dog. Another one, man. Just a little whimper.
They make small boy dogs, too.
Oh, man. You
know what? I think you could get a tiger.
The guy on Netflix. I haven't watched it.
Are you guys? No, I'm not gonna watch that. What is that? Everyone's talking about that online.
The guy was clever enough to get his ass on TV.
But what's the story behind this? This guy's dead and they haven't found his body, kind of thing.
I don't know.
Is that what it is? He's dead.
I don't know.
That's what I'm hearing.
There's new episodes being released.
Because I'm following a bunch of things on the social media and on different social media, and they're like, did his wife kill him? Did his tigers eat him?
See, you just spared me watching this show. I get it filtered through you.
But it's getting so much attention.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's the biggest show right now. Maybe it's because everybody has marathoned everything.
Are you guys big on the Netflixing?
Some
Netflixing and chilling.
I'm up to date with Ozark.
Oh, that's
Isn't that amazing?
Just Chris, you said you wanted to watch a movie. Watch episode 1. Watch episode 1. No. It's like a movie. It's great.
Yeah, but
it's such a great episode 1.
But it doesn't end though.
No, it's a series, but it's very.
It doesn't end.
That episode is entertaining enough to just say I watched that.
You know what you just told me?
What?
Have a little heroin, just a little bit. Just have one. Have one hit. Forget it. Look, it's enough. It's enough to get you into it. Just have a little hit like this.
I didn't say it's as addictive as heroin. I just said it's an hour of entertainment you'll appreciate.
It's a great series. It's a great series.
It's good. It's good.
I went through the whole 3rd season in 2 days.
That's true. It's proof. It's proof that you can have a dog.
Oh yeah.
I go through these things, man, like especially with Netflix, because they release everything at the same time.
You wake up at 9 a.m. and call it early. That's why you have time to do it.
No, man, it's like I go stupid on these things and then I'm done. It's like Netflix doesn't even exist, but I go through like these phases, like in 1 or 2 months, I'm going to go stupid on something. And then it's like, I'm going to ignore it until, the next season comes out.
You know what?
It's a thing that we're living through, the phenomenon. Everybody's doing the marathoning.
It's been coined. It's called binge watching.
Binge watching, yeah.
And what people do is because they want to get all the euphoria in 1 second, like they want to condense. They're going to skip seasons and then binge watch for like 3 days to get all that. And then they're like this. Then they overdose. They're like this.
Yeah, you're drained. You're so emotionally committed. You're trying to follow the story, the people, the names.
Then you're fucking drained for 3 days because you did binge watching.
3 days. I remember when
when I was introduced to Game of Thrones, it was like
I've never
2 weeks.
I've never seen
2 weeks. Me and my wife were like just ordering out, not cleaning dishes.
Put the kids to bed at 6.
Keep shaking him.
I remember when Breaking Bad went on Netflix, and there was like 6 or 7 seasons, I think.
Five.
Is it 5? Whatever.
The whole show's 5.
I saw the entire thing in maybe 2 months.
Us too.
The entire thing, dude.
I tried. You know what? I did try to get into one of these, and I committed to almost a season on and off. Like maybe I would see an episode.
Oh, man.
Lucifer.
I'm just gonna tell you that
Is that good?
I'm gonna say that we're living in a golden age of series, like TV programming.
Yeah.
And series. So you're missing out on great shows, man. The last 15 years I've been.
I don't feel like that though, man.
Have you watched the whole series of The Sopranos?
I haven't seen.
Amazing. That's so amazing. You would fall so much in love. I've binge watched The Sopranos 3 times. Game of Thrones. Yeah. I've binge watched the Game of Thrones at least twice.
Can you believe I haven't seen one episode of The Sopranos?
You're crazy, my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Me neither.
You're crazy.
Not even one.
You guys don't know what you're missing.
No, I'm sure it's good.
When you get past season 1 is a little but when you get to season 2, 3, it's insane. It's amazing. It's so amazing.
Where can I see that? Like it's on
HBO.
HBO.
Yeah.
Look, there's no way now I'm gonna go back and put The Sopranos and watch.
You'd be surprised, man, how great it is.
No, I know. I'm sure.
Oh, it's so amazing.
I'm okay with not living that experience. I'm okay.
No, I just say
I've made peace with that.
It's so amazing. It's so amazing.
No, but it's funny how after all that is done, how useless you feel. You're like, what did I just do now? I just wasted 3 months. I feel like shit. I've been sleeping every day at 5 in the morning.
I can't wait to talk about it with somebody who's done it too.
Yeah, George doesn't feel like, yeah. I feel like I've wasted time if I'd waste like 5-10 hours on that. But George doesn't. If you don't feel like you wasted the time is not wasted.
No, I don't waste 10 hours in a day. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not saying you do.
I'll watch it back to back, an episode or 2 a night, back to back until I go through it. I'm not saying I'm going to spend 76 straight hours watching 76 hours of it.
Yeah, but that's what you always tell yourself. You're like, okay, I'm just going to watch 2 episodes and go to sleep. And the next thing you know, you're down to like 5 episodes. The sun is coming out. Your wife is waking up. Your kids are waking up and you haven't slept yet. You know how many times that's happened to me? I felt bad.
I think we spoke about this with Alex when he was on the show, but I used to be like that. I think I was like that. It just, I don't know, with like, I used to be like a movie buff. Like I would stay till 4 or 5 in the morning and watch movies.
Yeah.
And I'd watch 2, 3 in a row. The days of Snatch and Lock, Stock, and like, remember that stuff? Pulp Fiction, all those movies were different. And I got into that heavy. With time, though, it became like today, if you ask me, let's watch, like, I remember I texted you last week, a good movie.
Yeah.
We ended up watching nothing.
No, really?
Yeah, it was like, okay, fuck it. Let's forget it. I don't want to do this. This is a series. This is too long. Like you told me, The Irishman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not 3.5 hours. Are you crazy? 3.5 hours. That couldn't work. But
you haven't seen it yet. Oh man, you guys have
3.5 hours.
Well, look,
3.5 hours. Like really.
Yeah, but you're acting all surprised. Meanwhile, George is telling you I watched like 3-4 episodes in a series. It actually.
No, I know. What I'm saying is that there's like 3-4 things on my list before I get to the movie. If I get to the movie, if I'm in a mood to watch a movie, that means I've like said no to like 4 or 5 things before that. That's just
when I watch, I dissect. Like I'll go back and watch something again just to hear it again, just to decipher it. I really commit to it.
Yeah, but the crazy thing about The Irishman, and I think I've told you guys this before, it is 3.5 hours, but when you're watching it, the flow is so well done. It doesn't feel like you watch it for 3 hours. It's so well done. Like the character development, the story development, there's a beautiful flow to the thing. The guy did an amazing job, honestly.
The only thing I didn't like, I watched a bit of it, but I never got to finish it. And there was a scene where they're playing younger versions of themselves, and it's so terrible.
The CGI was a little off.
No, but he's kicking somebody on the street. It's so bad.
Yeah. I'm not sure how that works. Because do they do the CGI just on the face so they get him to look young, but his whole body and his movement is him in his 70s? And that's what's weird about that, because in that scene, he's like probably in his 40s, let's say. his face is like they've done a really good job getting him to look young, but the way he walks is like De Niro now. He can barely lift his foot, so he's kicking the guy on the sidewalk, and it's like
his lower back is hurting him.
It's like
his sciatica is acting up, and he's kicking people in the street.
Meanwhile, he looks like a child.
He looks like younger than us.
Yeah, I saw that too. Wow, yeah, that's who's that? That's you. That's who's George or Chris?
Chris.
It's you, Chris. That
what?
That yelling.
What? The yelling.
Maria.
Oh, you guys can hear that. Yeah, it's probably Maria. Hey!
She's funny from the right.
Oh man, that's funny. No, but see, the frustrating thing about Netflix also is that there's so much. It's the variety, and I understand what Chris is saying is that you find yourself scrolling for like half an hour, 40 minutes, and I've been there, Chris. I'm like, by the end, you're like, okay, you know what, fuck it, just close it. I'd rather scroll.
Well, yeah, man. After you spend 20 minutes trying to find something, like you've already invested so much time. Like, it's like, you know what, after this, it's like, I don't feel like it anymore.
It's frustrating. And, they have the suggested things that you can watch, and it has nothing to do with what you like or what you want to watch. I don't know how that, what is it, the algorithm works. Like, they have all
these... They track.
They track the way the algorithm works is, like, try to get you to watch their content.
No, but I thought it's based on what you watched before.
Absolutely.
But then, you go on the suggested things, and it's like these high school teenage movies. Like, I don't know.
Garbage.
I know what you did last summer or something, whatever.
That's because when you're not home, Joanna watches that.
Yeah.
And it goes into the account, so the account registers that.
No, but because we have different profiles. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Because she has her own profile, and we have a profile for the kids as well. And then I've given my password to my dad, so he watches it at home. And that I know that he's been watching.
Either you're lying to us, or your father likes strange movies.
No. I know that my dad's been watching because you have all these nature things, like the March of the Penguins or whatever it is. I don't know. All these nature stuff that he probably watches. So I'm like, my dad's been watching for sure. No.
So what's a good movie to watch? An hour and a half, an hour 45 top?
Hold on. I'm going to go on right now and tell you the things that I put on my watch list. Hold on.
No, if you put it on your watch list, means you haven't seen it. So you can't give me an opinion on it.
Well, no, but maybe it's old movies that...
what do you like?
That I've seen and that I want to watch again. Hold on, my list.
You have a list?
Yeah, you have your favorite. Like you can put to add on your list. So you don't do that. It's like favorites.
No, I don't do that. That's why I call you.
Yeah. Okay. So very, very like I'm weird, man. My choice. Look what I put on my list. I put Constantine with Keanu Reeves. Remember that like devil whatever movie? He's like a priest or something. I remember watching it years ago. I'm like, I'm going to rewatch it. I put We Own the Night with Mark Wahlberg and Joaquin Phoenix, where it's a police family and one kid, he has links to the mafia, and then they kill the father, and it's whatever.
Give it away.
No, but it's what else do I have?
I'm busting balls.
I put Donnie Brasco.
Oh, I've seen that.
I wasn't a big on that one, man.
I've seen it.
The Fresh Prince is on Netflix, so I put it there so I can start watching that series again.
It's terrible.
What do you mean it's terrible, man? Come on. Come on, The Fresh Prince, man. It's like it's what you grew up.
I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it, but it was terrible.
I put Tintin. Remember Tintin when they made that into a movie?
Not watching that.
It was like an animated movie. Sherlock Holmes, Guy Ritchie.
Oh, I saw that.
I watched them.
Yeah, I saw that.
Good. Yeah. I put 7 Years in Tibet. Like all these weird things.
That's old, no?
Yeah, it is old. I have Pulp Fiction.
Classic.
That?
Eh?
You've watched that?
Of course I've watched it, but I have it on my list so I can watch it again. I have 8 Mile with Eminem. I haven't watched that. I want to watch it. There's this movie called The Laundromat with
sounds familiar.
Antonio Banderas and Gary Oldman and Meryl Streep. Big names. Never seen it. Might be interesting.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I started watching Darkest Hour. It's the story of Winston Churchill. It's with Gary Oldman.
Yeah, I never finished it. It was long.
Yeah, I think I fell asleep after half an hour. But Munich, I sent you Munich. I had seen it a while back, and I love that movie.
That one too. I never finished it.
Yeah, pretty cool. Anyway,
All right,
so that's it. Yeah. No, Netflix is fun, man. But now I'm big time on the Disney thing because of the girls.
Oh yeah, you know what? I found what's it called? I finally watched Frozen.
The second one or the first one?
Good question.
The second one.
Come on, Chris. You got to get it.
The second one. The second one.
Yeah.
The one with where she kind of revives the forest.
Yeah. It's the second one.
That's the second one, yeah.
I haven't watched any.
What? I've seen it you have boys, man. What are you going to watch for Frozen now? We watch it at least 3 times a day. Man, it's retarded.
Oh, man.
Like my girls are walking around the house and they're just humming.
Guys, I'm telling you, man, like too much TV is no good.
Yeah, that's true.
Picture a population that's on TV 5 hours a day, what their brains are going to be like in 20 years from now, when they're going to have to innovate.
No, but you know,
it's a catastrophe.
Look, I understand
it's going to be worse than COVID.
Yeah, look, I understand what you're saying, but on the flip side, there's a lot of interesting stuff, man. Like Netflix, forget about the movies. There's some interesting documentaries. There's some interesting things like the Discovery Channel. I think that's on Disney. They have the Discovery Channel. So there's a bunch of interesting things. The question is, are people watching those things? But
it's not only that. It's people learn more from doing than hearing and watching. That's why a lecture is like maybe 70% effective. Watching a video is maybe 65% effective. Doing, though, is 90% effective. Yeah. So when you watch a lot, or when you read a lot, or when you just listen a lot and you don't do, the results are skewed.
But it's more entertainment. Like, how would you do? You know what I mean? Like, you're watching a documentary on penguins. What is there to do? You know what I mean? It's more informative. You know what I mean? But it's better than, for example, watching just some random movie. At least this way you're learning something. You know, you see that?
Yeah. No, I see that. I'm just saying that we're too much in front of screens, movies, stuff like that. So you have 8 hours of screen and it's what have you done?
No, for sure. And especially now.
Like I can't unstake my kid from the TV. It's hard. It's a fight. It's a fight every day.
You're talking about now, these days.
Well, I'm talking about now. These are the important days. These are the important years.
In general.
Once you've built a habit for 8 years, at 19, you're not going to be like, oh, forget all this stuff. No. You're going to want to do more of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know? So that's all I'm saying. That's a lot.
I was reading an article last night, linked obviously to what's going on right now, where people are obviously home, they're doing a bunch of things and not being outdoors, right? So, and it had to do with the whole environmental effect that this crisis is having all over the world, right? Mm-hmm. They're noticing. It was interesting. I just found it interesting, and it just put things into perspective, like to understand, like at a global level, how nothing is happening. Everyone is just home. Cities are like ghost towns, and because of that, they're noticing obviously pollution levels decreasing, gas emissions decreasing as well. It was an interesting article because they were questioning, the fact that they're at an inflection point right now where either it could go super bad, because when all this is said and done, the governments are going to want to accelerate at a much faster pace in order to get things back to where they were, and the pollution levels and the gas emissions might go back on the rise, but like double. You know what I mean? Or the governments will realize the positive impact this has had on like the environment, and maybe use what's happened to make policy on finally getting things in order with the environmental policy. It was interesting, but more than the content of the article, it was just to think while I was reading, thinking that 8 billion people like people are just home doing nothing. They were talking about the in Italy the canals in Venice, like they're clean for the first time in decades. You know, you can see fish swimming through. You know what I mean? Like just incredible things. Like in Israel, like there were deer running on the beaches. It's like this post-apocalyptic almost vision, right?
But don't forget. So look, first of all, it's not 8 billion people at home. There's way less people.
Of course not, of course. But
there's countries that are like Sweden. That's just like, hey, we're just living life exactly how it was.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of countries like that.
But there's much less than usual. I mean,
and the fish and the animals, they're not there because the pollution has cleared. They're there because there's less noise.
Yeah, there's less human activity, but there's
less noise. Yeah, it's not the pollution. Like, don't get like a lot of these environmentalists are gonna get the ideas now, and it's like let's stop life completely. You can stop life, but eventually the human is gonna want to go where it left off, right?
Absolutely. But it was still fascinating to see how, in a matter of 3 months, you had, like for example, in big cities like New York, Hong Kong, some of the biggest cities around the world, where you had pollution levels drop by 50%. Gas emission levels reduced by like 20 or 15%, like huge impact. And they were showing it on this graphic like map kind of thing, and it was sped up over time. And like you saw like the reduction in all these in the pollution levels. It was interesting, but more than that, it was just thinking of how dead cities are. They had pictures showing like New York, like Manhattan, dead. Dubai, like nothing, dead, just infrastructure, empty landscapes. You know what I mean? And I found that it fascinating. It was pretty interesting.
It's I don't believe it's going to stay like that. I think even when you isolate more, well, if the lockdown continues for more months, somehow there's going to be a rebellion. I don't know what kind, but people are going to just want to be out, and they'll say, fuck it, I'll take the ticket. Fuck it, I don't care.
I'm just worried about people's mental health. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you're closed up in your house for so long. And like you said, Chris, people are just going to go, like, if you're forcing people to stay home, like now people understand. We're at that point where I think people are understanding the necessity of staying home, right? But imagine, fast forward to like August, September, October. Imagine we're still confined. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Look at George, man. He's just pulling a sweat just thinking about it. People are going to No, but
4 weeks.
No, but I'm reading all these things online, and people are starting to consider that possibility. And at the same time, they're starting to think about people's mental health. You know what I mean? I've seen.
It was obvious from the get-go that, though.
No, but and it's interesting because some people I follow on Facebook, they started writing some posts like yesterday, I think, when Trudeau came out and said this is, we're not going to normal anytime soon until we have a vaccine. So he's trying to make people understand that normalcy is probably further than we had anticipated, and automatically people are commenting on that, saying, I don't give a shit, May 4th I'm going out, I'm done. It's like, dude, man, relax.
Yeah, people are gonna react like that.
Yeah,
a lot of people need to leave the home. A lot of people cannot stay in.
Leave.
And you know what?
Yeah.
And that's when you're at the cusp of your mental health, the breakdown or the rebellion. It's like you can't take it anymore. You're gonna go out. You'll take the ticket.
I think it's more than wanting to leave. It's about we need human interaction.
Absolutely.
No, but it's also change. Like you need to change the environment you're in. We don't realize on a daily basis because you wake up in the morning, you get dressed, you go to work, you do your thing, you come back, you spend some time with the kids. You're gonna go to the park, then you're gonna watch a movie at night. You're gonna go to bed, and it repeats that way, right? But every single day to be living like a monotonous, lifestyle, like it's Groundhog Day kind of thing. And it's
but you know what?
And there's good things about it. I'm not saying like it's all bad. It's nice because people are, like Chris was saying, you rediscover how beautiful it is to be at home. You're connecting again with your kids, with your spouse, with your parents, whoever it is that you're secluded with. Some people see the positive in this, but some people, they just can't. It's
not that they can't. You know what? It's not that they can't. Psychologically, you're going to get hit if you have no purpose. Doesn't have to be a purpose this big. It doesn't have to be if you wake up and you work every day with purpose and you get fulfilled for what you do or for what you put out there, whatever your business is, whatever your work is, once you fulfill that, the chances of you going crazy are very, very small.
Yeah, but what's the purpose if you don't work right now and you're home?
Well, it could be a million things. It could be taking care of your kid. It could be like spending time with your kid.
Well, that's the thing. You have to.
It could be writing. You always wanted to write that book. Start writing it. You always wanted to exercise. Start exercising.
That's the trick. Yeah, that's the trick here.
That's what it is.
You have to revise your purpose.
If you sit at home doing nothing, what I'm telling you is like the worst thing you can do is what 80% or 90% of the people do. Sit there and watch news on COVID-19. Yeah. If you sit there and just absorb all that negative information and feel hopeless and just sit there and say, what's going to happen, then you talk to somebody and then, okay, more griping, more pitying, more misery. What do you think of this? Oh my God. Like that pessimism is going to drive you crazy. You want to be better? Just avoid the news. Don't watch the news for 1 week and you're going to feel better.
Yeah.
So you know what? Yeah, it is going to affect people's mental health, but people aren't smart enough to understand that their mental health is in their control.
Yeah.
It's what you put. Stop putting garbage in your mind.
You know, honestly, deep down, I'm following what's happening, obviously on a daily basis, and I'm so much more worried about what comes after than what's going on right now, because I'm hopeful to know that, you know, we're going to get through this. Obviously, it's unfortunate that people have to die, but we're going to get through it. But what comes after is what scares me a lot. You know, people, it's going to be craziness. The pace at which everything is going to have to function to get things back in order. Yesterday, it was announced that here in Canada, the deficit is going to go over $180 billion, and that's just now. So by the time this is over, I'm suspecting it's going to be over $200 billion.
Yeah.
And to get back to what you were saying, Chris, this is stuff that we're going to have to assume. Our kids are going to have to assume. Like, I don't even want to imagine, economically, what's gonna, the sacrifice that we're gonna have to make. It's weird to think that, for the first time since the Second World War, we're at this economic situation where our grandkids are going to be suffering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's what it is, and thank God we have capitalism. Because if we were in socialism right now, we'd be eating each other.
$200 billion in deficit, man. That for me is. Thank
God, and I hope people understand that. And you know what? We kind of saw democracy's flaws now. You know what? Look what we're doing. We're glorifying the real heroes, right? Which are the nurses, the doctors, the experts, all these like experts within their fields, right? And then yet, democracy is what? Democracy is just vote a guy that you like. Which doesn't mean he's competent. It doesn't mean he's done anything. He hasn't shown any leadership. He hasn't shown any results. So democracy is putting people in the forefront, having people lead with almost no competence.
Yeah, but
in every other field, you have experts. In politics, you don't. You have people that people voted for.
No, you do have experts. I mean, you have.
No, you do.
Yeah, you do.
If they need an expertise, they'll go to the experts and say, "Give me a report because I need to present something."
No, look.
So they're not experts.
No, there are experts, but they're not acting in their field of expertise necessarily.
That's right. So they're not experts.
No, they're experts. Like, look at the finance minister. I mean, it's Bill Morneau. You know what I mean? He has Chappelle Morneau. Like, the guy knows about numbers, right? But when
who's minister of what?
Finance.
In what country?
Here, Canada.
Okay, you just spoke about a $200 billion deficit.
I understand. I'm not.
So what did this guy do?
No, I know, but
that's what I'm saying, George.
Yeah, no,
that's what I'm saying.
What I'm trying to say is that the expertise is there, but
no, it's not. It's not. The expertise comes with the result.
No,
if you cannot give a result, then you're not an expert. People position themselves as experts.
No, the expertise is there because he's proven it, but he's working in a context where, it's not necessarily your expertise that matters, right? We're in politics. It's what people want or what we think people want.
That's what I'm saying. So you have an engineer or a doctor or an accountant that went to school, did 4 years of that, had to prove himself. He had some years of practice. He got this, and that. So now basically you have an order that protects the public and you say, okay, go do what you got to do, right? This is your profession. Do what you need to do, but you're accountable. If you mess up, you're accountable. If you do this, you're accountable. So why not have a system where politicians go through a system called political science, the real political science, not going over World War I and communism and the French Revolution and I don't mean that. I mean, you have a little bit of economics, you do a little bit of, a little bit of marketing, a little bit of psychology. And then once you're done, you finish the 4-year program where, okay, now you understand politics, you understand laws, you understand this, go work for 4 or 5 years, get experience. And then instead of like voting on faces, let's put CVs out there and see, okay, what has he done? Okay, what has he done? Who has he led? You know what? And vote like that. You don't even need a face to vote.
Yeah, but nothing stops you, Chris, from voting like that. You know,
that's not the politician. It's the voter.
I'm saying the voter.
That information is out there. They always use it to either hurt somebody's.
It's not. It is out there, but it's not the basis.
Voters not everybody votes based on this.
No one does.
That's it. So it's not the politician.
So it's exactly. So
because the next elections are going to come around, Chris, you can take a look at the candidates in your district and say, okay, who has the best profile? You could. The information, like George said, the information.
That's what I'm saying, guys. I know. Like I'm not saying that. I'm just saying a system where everybody would be positioned better with more academic background, with more experience. And voting based on the achievement is a lot better than just anybody. Anybody could go. Anybody could run.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody. Which is fine. Look, my ideology is democracy, so I believe in democracy. I just find that that's a major weakness of it. A major weakness of it is out of 10 people. Like, think about it. Look at another weakness of democracy.
So
right?
the problem would be the selecting your candidates.
That's right.
That's where the problem.
You got to select your candidates from a pool of people that are able. Then what you do is you sort, and then only the best, and then out of the 10 best, only the 3 best, and then you pick out of the 3 best. You don't pick me because I decided, hey, I want to run. Yeah. I feel like doing this. This is what I want to do today. I want to do this. No, you don't do that.
This is exactly what you're talking about now. Is an issue that is very highly debated at this moment, especially provincially, where they're trying to implement or impose rather open nominations, which I'm against. Open nominations basically means that, let's say, the elections are coming up in 2 years. Okay. The party, so the leadership, instead of selecting the candidates themselves, the people that they believe have what it takes to do the job, they leave it to the public to decide. So basically, and it happens, right? Open nominations, it's a pool of candidates, 3, 4, 5 people, whatever it is, all for the same party. And the members of that party vote who they want to represent them in the next coming election. So you win your nomination. Once you win the nomination, then you present yourself and you become the candidate in the general election. I'm against that because you have no idea who the people are going to put. Maybe there's someone that is popular. Maybe he has more logistics and mobilization power to bring the different members to vote for him or her. You understand? And this happens. So at the end of the day, the leadership is left with a slate of candidates that they weren't necessarily selected by the person that will be running that party, right, or the government. So it's a big debate because they're like, we have to leave that. It's the people that need to decide and give the power back to the people, kind of thing. And
whatever we're saying, it requires the constitutional changes.
No, it doesn't. No, because it's internal. It's the party. It's how the party decides to do their candidate selections. So it's entirely internal. And my position is more, look, there's a leader in the party. He or she can assume the responsibility of selecting the people that she or he wants to represent her potential government, right? So, look, we have 125 members of parliament, man. If you can't select 125 candidates that you think will be the best to do the job, then
but you know what? Even that, the process. I understand the process. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that out of the candidates. Example. I'll give you an example. You want to go to a dentist, right? You're not just going to go find somebody and say, "Hey, who wants to be the dentist today?" You're going to go get a dentist that has been certified, has a diploma, has practice. There's an order that says, "Hey, Mr. Dentist, you're able to practice because you haven't done any big boo-boos yet, right? You haven't made big mistakes. We haven't taken your license. So you know what? People can trust you. Go ahead."
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there's nothing. You need a certain skill set and a certain mindset to run a country or to make decisions.
Yeah, but it comes back to what George was saying. It's in the leadership of the parties.
It's not in the leadership of the parties. I'm talking about there's got to be a 4-year, 5-year, I'll even say a 6-year program where you learn how to make decisions, how to lead, understand people, psychology. You cannot just be somebody who bartended all their life and now wants to run a country.
No, I know, but
you cannot go try and reorganize a country when you can't even fix your bed.
No, I get it, but at the same time,
that's what I'm saying. So,
yeah, but you don't necessarily need a program because
you absolutely need a program.
Oh, because
dude, would you hire an engineer if look? I've learned a little bit. I just go do things. What do you need? I'll do it for you.
Yeah. No.
Right?
No. What I'm trying to say is that you can have people that have life experiences, professional experiences that put them in that level, right? I mean,
no, absolutely not.
Yeah, look at you, for example, man. You've been an engineer for what, 10 years now?
A little more, yeah. More, yeah.
Okay, you have a significant experience. If I am running a party and I need someone for my public safety or whatever, let's say there was a position for infrastructure development, whatever.
Yeah.
I would come and I would see you and I'll tell you, look, man, you have no experience in politics, but you have a significant experience in this particular post that I'm trying to create. I think you'd be a good fit.
This is where I disagree, George. The politics, what's the experience in politics? Blah, 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 lying. Like when somebody is a professional politician, what is his experience?
It becomes
is it fixing deficits? Is it knowing how to regulate debt? Is it getting deals done? What is it?
Winning elections.
It is.
It's giving a good lecture. It's popping the people to vote for him.
No, it's experience in lawmaking. It's experience in understanding how government procedures work. Depending on the position that you
are,
there is a lot.
Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah.
She votes laws.
Yeah.
What experience does she have affecting the laws?
I don't know her. I don't know what her background is.
Her background, she's a barmaid. Sorry.
Yeah. Look,
that's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. And you know what? I think people are gonna get smart. People are starting to gravitate towards politicians that give results.
Yeah, I know. But look,
they're starting to really, 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 really get fed up with. Blah 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 blah.
But look, she's still very new. Like, to go back to what you're saying about the career politician, take her for example. Let's assume that she doesn't have the experience. I don't know her. I don't follow her. I don't personally like her. But
she's very popular.
She's very popular. But that's how she got in, right? I mean, we talked about this on previous episodes. The populism in politics.
That's the populism.
A huge space. So fast forward 10, 15 years, assuming that she's still going to maintain office for that long. All right. Take her and talk about her political experience at that point in time.
But what is it going to? What's going to be her experience? It's going nothing, because she stopped learning. No. She didn't become an expert. Something. Her experience is just going to be being in situations, and that is an experience. I agree. Situational experience is an experience, but off the bat, there's nothing in the toolkit. There's nothing in this toolbox. Yeah. This is not a person you put in front to solve issues for you. You put her in the front, and it's like, okay. All right, we don't need any more critics. We need doers. Any kind of business or any kind of organization that has thrived has had a leader. The leader weeds himself out.
Yeah.
He's never appointed. People with titles don't do things.
Yeah, but look, you have to look at it in time, because I can assure you that in 10, 15 years from now, someone that came into politics that had very little experience comes out with massive knowledge, perhaps not in a specific industry or whatever. Like me becoming an engineer 10, 15 years into the future, I'm an expert in that field. Same thing happens in politics. You get elected 10, 15 years in the future, you become an expert in policymaking.
You're not an expert.
But Chris,
you can't become an expert for sitting down and listening and raising your hand.
What Chris is saying is you're becoming an expert in politics.
In the wrong thing.
Politics, what he's saying is just winning the race. But he's saying you need people that know how to govern and that stick to that have experience in the real issues, economics.
But that's right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm not saying of course you're going to get an experience.
But I also think that
and think about it. Wherever you have experts, Like, I'll give you an example. In technology, the experts are there. Look how ahead we are. In certain fields like medicine, we have the experts. Look where we're at. With society and politics, we don't have any experts. Look how the world is messed up. Because these are not people that solve problems. These are people that just criticize, and then 4 years it's later, I'm gone. Oh, I don't want to do this anymore. That's basically the big flaw of democracy. And what I'm saying is that when you have, example, a structural engineer, and he messes up, well, he's going to sit in front of a court and say, okay, I didn't do this, and he's going to pay for that. Mm-hmm. You can have a politician that is responsible for $200 billion. He's not accountable. Who cares? Doesn't matter.
Well, the accountability is going to come in form of the support next time around. So either you go through.
That's bullshit. That is bullshit.
But that's the essence of democracy. You understand?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the flaw of democracy.
If I put you in place and I want you to represent what I need, and you succeed, then we're going to keep you there. It's a.
And that's what I'm saying, George. People pick. I'll put you in place. That is such a wrong system. Nowhere else in the world do we do that with anything. You're not even going to have somebody that you don't know change your tires. You're going to go to a person that has changed 15 tires before. You're not going to say, hey, by the way, would you like to change my tires?
Yeah, but because these are very technical things that you can learn. They're learnable skills.
Well, so politics should be a learnable skill, because politics is not shaking hands and appearing and taking pictures.
Yeah, but how do you learn?
Politics is leading, making decisions, understanding economy, understanding psychology, making people feel good, and at the end giving a result where everybody's life gets better. That's a result.
Yeah,
but it's the equivalent of being a good parent, I think, That's what
that's the thing, man. You can't go to school and learn how to be a parent. You got to live it through experiences. You gotta fail, or you gotta
look at what parents are doing. He's talking about the initial logic.
No, George, that's for my kid. For my kid, I'll trial and error, and you know what? I'm gonna make sure I don't give him enough psychological problems so he can go on with his life. Yeah. I'll try not to mess him up. When you're in charge of 40 million people, there's no trial and error. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's no trial and error.
I
that's why historically they were always men in their later in life.
Well, they were trained. Sorry, I lost you guys. They were always trained. They had skills. Like, you have politicians with zero skills, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? You have 90% of the effort goes to win the race, like George said, with the posters and the this or that, the campaigns, and then when it's time to really work, it's like, oh, whatever, okay, whatever. Go, slow down now, slow down. We won, we're okay. All I'm saying is that system, for sure, I guarantee you, is in 100 years we won't have the system, because people are going to be smarter than that. People aren't going to be
saying to fix what you're saying without depending on people deciding it correctly. It would be to change how we select, and it would be constitutional change.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to change now, and look. It's a very philosophical debate.
I agree with what you're pointing out is very, very, very.
People are going to see accurate. That. People in 50, 20, 30, 40, whatever years, they're going to see it.
You're saying this because of your age.
Yeah.
People learn it at our age, and it changes how you're going to vote moving forward.
Well, I'm still going to vote, and it's fine. I'm just saying that, you know what? People are hiring experts that are to market products. Why aren't we hiring experts to lead our lives? It's so simple. It's so simple.
It shows how
it's so simple. And you know what? You kind of get it when you have Trudeau. You ask him a question and he answers, "Thank you for the question. That was a very nice quote. Here in Canada, we want to hear. We're proud of ourselves in doing this, and that. And this is a great." What? Like, people don't see that. And then next term, I'm going to go vote for this guy because his hair is nice.
Yeah, but that's what I'm telling you, Chris. You don't have to vote for him.
No, but what I'm saying is that shouldn't be my issue.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be my issue. Yeah. Somebody needs to select and say, hey, you know what, Trudeau, you didn't make the first cut, buddy. You didn't make the first cut. You were not selected. You can't continue. Yeah. You can't continue this race. So at the end, when I'm left with 3 candidates, and you know what, I welcome all ideologies. I'm a certain ideology, and I understand that, and I welcome all of them. And that's why it's like, I could disagree 1,000% with what you're saying, but I'm really gonna always fight for your right to express what you need to express. Yeah. That's fine. But the 3 candidates at the end have to be guys that, man, you've shown, you've led, another prerequisite should be you've made money for yourself, not inherited, made.
Yeah.
If you're not able for yourself to make a couple of $1 million, if you're somebody who's always struggled in life with $50,000, $60,000 a year, let's say, example, you're going to go lead a country. You can't even get out. You can't even get yourself out of the rat race. What are you going to do for the people?
Yeah. Look,
there's certain criteria. We need certain check marks. Yeah. Okay, he's done that. Yeah, he's charismatic. And you know how it works today? You know what the first check marks are? He's charismatic and he speaks well.
Yeah, do I like him?
Oh man, he gave an amazing speech. And then you have he's indebted $185,000. Dude, that's think about it. Think about this profile. He's cute. He has nice hair. He's likable. He's charming. Right? And then under the iceberg, $1 million in debt, 2 divorces.
Billion.
Right? 2 divorces.
Yeah.
Domestic violence issues, nonconformity, insubordination. That's the guy you're voting for.
Yeah.
What I want to see is give me the top list. Yeah. You know what? This guy has led an organization, a nonprofit organization of 2,000 people and has done this. He's made this. He's over the poverty line because he's able to generate money. He understands the law. Check. Oh, plus he's charismatic. Great. Plus he can speak well. He speaks 3 languages. That's awesome. Great. Check. Get him in there.
You have people like that in politics, and they look for them and they bring them in because specifically they have those high profiles, right? The paradox in politics is that you're talking about someone that needs to lead 40 million people, for example. If we take if we take the example of Canada,
not necessarily. It could be in any facet of the government.
No, but listen to this.
Think about it this way now. Okay, the Ministère de l'Économie, right? Let's say the guys who take care of that. How many people do you have in there that don't even know how to balance an equation?
I don't know.
Many.
Yeah, but you want to believe that the people actually, you know what? That's not true.
Yeah, that is very true.
No, because look, you have the political class, but then you have the civil service. The civil service, man, there's some brainiacs in there. I mean, to get hired to work in the ministry, not the political staffers. Okay, forget about that. But within the public, the civil service that works in the ministry, there's some really, really intelligent people. These are the people that actually do the work. When the minister comes out and gives out all the information, all the stats, all the studies, it's not the minister that does it. Maybe he does. Maybe he has an idea. Maybe his staff has an idea. But I can guarantee you that there's a huge machine behind that.
George, I know, man. I've worked in my work for years. I've worked at every level.
Yeah.
Every level of government, whether it's municipal, provincial, federal. I've done it. I've met the people behind the public servants. I've worked with them. You know what? I'm not as impressed as you are. That's one. And number 2, what you're talking about is a rarity, an exception. Out of 100, there's one like that.
But look, let me get back to what I was saying before, because you're saying that we need people that know how to lead 40 million.
I'm not just saying that.
It's an example. But
all I'm saying is that we need people with more credentials, more accountability.
Chris, listen, the paradox in politics is that, yes, you want to have that, but the majority of the people don't look at that, and it's difficult, and it's very.
That's the problem.
I know, but the problem isn't then the politicians. The politicians are there because the people elect them. So the change has to come. From the people.
That's right. That's what we're saying, man. That's what we're talking about 10 minutes ago.
Not the Constitution.
Chris is saying there should be something set in place to make sure only those great candidates go into the spotlight. Nobody else is allowed in the spotlight unless you have all these qualities.
That's right. That's all I'm saying.
That way you take that out of the people from picking the prettiest person. Maybe the prettiest person amongst the best is better.
That's right.
It's the chicken and the egg, guys.
It's not.
It is because when you realize that people today, like you said before, they look much more on populism, who's popular, who's charismatic, who speaks well, who's good with people. I see him walking around the park with his...
George, you solve that problem. When you get the best out there, you solve the populist problem, because no matter what, out of the 4 that are left, you're probably going to pick somebody good. So you solve that problem.
But when you're facing a situation where you want to win, and you know that what it takes to win is what attracts people to vote for you, that may be the problem.
Say that again?
When you want to win, all right, you're in the political class. You want to win,
but that's secondary. You don't want to win. You want to bring a good change.
Of course.
If you realize that somebody's better, that's when you step down. So the point is not to win. That's another issue. Your point is not to win. Your point is to who's the best guy. And it can even be with a collaboration. It doesn't have to be just one guy, because that's the problem. You just want to win too much, and then you don't want to do the work.
But that's the whole idea, man. You know?
But that's what I don't like.
Yeah,
that's what I'm against.
Yeah, but you're never going to change that. You're never going to change.
What? Are you kidding? You think this system, this political system, is going to stay for the next 50 years?
If this was possible, Chris, it would exist. It would already exist.
No, man. The way
because
AI is going ahead, the way right now you have a doctor that could be in Africa and do surgery in California without touching anything, by just pressing a button, people are going to realize, hey, man, I don't need to go vote for this guy anymore. That's what's going to happen. This political system is already, you're seeing it crumble. It doesn't work.
Yeah, okay.
People don't want to be united anymore. People don't want to be in big Europe. People want their countries. People want their leaders for the small little tasks.
The effect that has, Chris, is not a unity at the level that you're describing, where we come together and we pick the best to lead. The effect it has to swing the pendulum the other way and say, these guys suck, we got to do exactly the opposite. And that's why it just swings, right? That's the shift between left and right that continuously happens.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about left and right. I'm not talking about a political instability. I'm talking about, hey, you know what, man? The way we regulate doctors, engineers, nurses, let's start regulating politicians a little bit. That's all I'm saying. And to put a system like that to protect the public against an idiot is not a bad idea. And all it is like, hey, man, instead of you, I don't know, working in restaurants all your life and then deciding, look, I'm going to be a politician, I'm going to go help now. You know what? Hey, you need a certain program. Mm-hmm. Nobody gives you a car and says start driving. You go through something.
Those
democracy is the only place where you have carte blanche for anything. And I find it's one of the most important things.
Not necessarily, because your checks and balances are the opposition that you have. So you fuck up, there's people, well, depending on,
You fuck up, people just tell you fucked up, don't vote for him. That's the only consequence.
No, I'm not talking about at a citizenship, at a citizen level.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about dictatorships. I'm against that. I'm 100% against dictatorships. I'm not talking about socialism. I'm talking about a very nice capitalist society that just runs on merit and performance. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but look,
at every level,
you can argue to some degree that that's well, not exactly, but that's what we don't.
We don't have that.
But listen to me, in the sense that you have a government in place. Okay, they don't do their job. There's other people sitting in parliament that are able to overthrow them if they have the numbers, of course. But that's what opposition is for. That's why this system. Maybe it's not perfect, but it's the best I think that exists so far.
I agree with that. It's not perfect.
Yeah, you have the checks and balances within the parliament itself.
Absolutely. Look, I agree. We agree on that. Maybe it sounds very negative and pessimistic because I zeroed in the flaw, and the flaw is not a big flaw, but I find it could be a lot better. And I do agree that in all the systems we tried out, it is the best one. But what we're doing now is we're really zeroing in the flaw, and that's the flaw.
And if we take Canada, for example, that's where I disagree with people that want to abolish the Senate. They think it's useless because they're appointed there and it's partisan. And I disagree, because the Senate plays a huge role in these checks and balances. Like, they want to pass a bill, they want to pass legislation. It doesn't happen in the House of Commons. It doesn't happen like in Parliament. They have to send it to the Senate, and the Senate has to read it, approve it, send it back for...
Yeah, but you do agree that the power of the Senate, it's not what it used to be.
Well, look...
It just comes in, and they're like, okay, yeah, all right, go, next.
No.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Let's interview a senator.
No, not really, because...
we know one. Let's interview one.
No, because the way that it's set up, and because he or she is appointed, they don't. It's not like in the U.S. where they're elected, and if you get the majority of your people in the Senate, then you can pass any legislation you want. I love how it is in Canada, the fact that they're appointed. So even if tomorrow you win government with your party, the Senate might be majority, liberal, or the opposing.
Of course, yeah.
That puts you in a situation where you have to absolutely work together, because if you want to pass legislation, but the majority in the Senate is the other party, then at some point you're going to have to learn how to work together and make concessions and give and take.
Yeah. Look, not to stick into politics a lot. I just find that in the future there are two main industries. And I don't want to call them industries, but they're industries. There's two main industries that are really behind. They have the biggest lag, right? Like technology has almost zero lag. Technology is actually ahead. Mm-hmm. Right? Certain engineering is kind of ahead. Medicine is almost ahead. Yeah, we haven't solved every issue, and we don't have a vaccine for everything, but it's ahead. It works hard. It's ahead. Two industries that have lag is education and politics.
Yeah, but but education stems from politics too.
What I'm saying is that and politics keep education behind. So we're talking about a lag of 80 years. It's 80 years behind. And I'm saying that the focus going forward should be to try and change these two industries, if you want to call them.
Fields.
These two fields there's definitely got to be some kind of reform. We definitely have to rethink who's leading, how it's leading, what are the programs, who's behind it, who's pushing it, and what are the interests. That's all I'm saying. And because I like both of these fields, and they're the ones that are keeping people behind.
That's a good point.
You know what the argument is on that, because you can definitely impose a certain percentage of the annual budget the governments pass to be dedicated to health or in education, which is already the case. Like in Quebec, for example, more than half of the budget goes to health. It's not enough, obviously, because people are getting older. The health industry is maxed out to the point where the money coming in from the government isn't enough to focus on advancement. You understand? Even though elsewhere you see how the medical industry is advancing technologically and with all these different procedures. And the debate here is, where do we bring in the private sector so that we can generate an influx of
Good question.
So that we can inject that back into these services?
And I think, yeah, go ahead. That's
a big problem, because the government is limited in the funds that they can inject. You know what I mean?
It's only that.
Like, you want to give more to health, you want to give more to education, you're going to have to cut from somewhere else. That's how government works. But you need to have revenue generating.
The answer. I'm not saying I have the answer, but I think the answer kind of looks like this. The answer looks smaller government, more limited government, with higher competency and more efficiency and optimized solutions. So we don't want more government. We don't want it to cost more and do less. We want it to be smaller, cost less, and do more. So basically, the way a business grows and you need more people because you're going after a bigger profit, government is the opposite. The more government is good means the more it shrinks, the more it costs less, and the more it does. Yeah. So I believe in more private sector, absolutely. Whatever the public sector brings out in time costs more and the quality goes down, right? Whatever's public costs more in the end and quality goes down. Whatever the private sector produces costs less with time, because now it's open to the market, and goes up with quality. Mm-hmm. Your phones are not the same phones today, and they cost way less.
You know what the counter argument to that is, Chris, and this is exactly, we can take it from what's happening now with the coronavirus, where you've had all these people arguing that for example, in health, okay, you had all these people arguing that the private sector should have a much bigger role, government should maybe open up to more privatization, et cetera, and then you have this crisis that comes up, and what happens? The private sector just shuts down. Everyone depends on the public. Everyone depends on the government. All the private clinics, all those doctors, they're gone. Very few of them.
You're not presenting the problem the way it is. That's not what happens. No.
Very few of them have gone to help.
Let me interrupt that. You didn't phrase that right. You said that everybody relies on the public. What is the private sector doing? Is that what you said? The reason that private sector cannot do anything is it's stifled by the public system. If all of medicine was private, we would have had the vaccine way before. Way before. If you had a private, 100% private company, which its sole purpose was to solve problems like that, trust me, you would have solved it, and nobody will rely on the public sector. The reason the stifling is happening is because of the public sector. So we're not posing the problem the same way. You're seeing it in a different way, and that's not true. That's what people think. If Canada didn't have such a public sector in medicine and it was more privatized, we wouldn't have issues. We would have had more masks, we would have had a lot more things. Because the market knows always better. You don't need a government to regulate. The market knows. Why? Because if a business doesn't do what it needs to do, it's out of business. And the only motivation of a business is to keep more profit and stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
But the government doesn't think like that because the government is eternal. So it doesn't care if it fails.
Yeah. In this given context, though, for example, right? Say we had the private health industry, like, because it exists, by the way, right? But
it doesn't.
Of course, there's private.
It doesn't. It's semi-private. Nothing is private. Medicine is not 100% private nowhere in the world. Not even in the U.S.
Two-tier.
There's private doctors, so you go and you pay. Like
private doctors don't do medical research, man.
There's private clinics. That's what I'm saying.
A clinic is to treat a cough. I'm talking about like a private clinic that their expertise is viruses.
Okay.
That's all we do.
Well, you have all the pharma companies. What do they do?
Pharma companies make drugs.
Yeah, okay. They have a research and development
to make drugs, not to solve viruses. What? Look, we could talk about it all day. All I'm saying is that obviously I'm more in favor of private because I believe that the machine works better, more efficient, harder, and it solves more problems in the world. Okay? That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying that there's certain things that you need to be privatized. And all I'm saying is, I don't know what the solution is like, but in 50 years from now, we need to go towards a smaller government, more efficient, with more specialized people that could do more and cost more. Because don't forget, a government has no money. A lot of people think governments have money. Governments don't have money. In order to give, they're taking from someone else.
They invent the money, and then they go get it from your pocket.
Okay, that's it. That's a bad model.
I know it's a bad model.
It's a bad model. Oh, like in the long term, that will not work. And that's why you could...
It also forces people to spend their budget rather than try to conserve budget.
Yeah, then you have no people saving. All the economics are off. So you have to understand that anywhere where you've taken money, right, from someone, like if you've taken money from someone that's worked to give it to somebody that hasn't, well, that's an unfair balance.
Yeah.
It's an unfair equation.
It's difficult to find the balance because you want to live in a society where there is this social blanket, but to what extent? And to go back to what you're saying about the economics, it is possible because it happened in Quebec, right? They reduced government, they increased revenue, and you're in a situation where there's $5 billion surplus. So if you maintain that model, it can work.
Absolutely.
Can we compare it?
Of course it can work.
Can we compare it at the level of, Canada as a whole? It's difficult. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I can't really say.
I just think individuals need a little more responsibility, a little more accountability, and you need a little more help. The help, this is maybe an old adage. It's an old saying, but if you give a person a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. That's the kind of mentality people need. Like in the US, just because more people are on food stamps doesn't mean you've succeeded. It means you failed.
Yeah.
Because what you really want is people. You want a country with less food stamps because people have the tools, have the know-how to go and create what they want to create out of their lives. So I believe that. That's why you cannot take and give somewhere else. And the government, it can only take and give from somewhere else. So anytime you've taken something from somebody that has worked, you've given it to somebody that has taken without working.
Yeah. Look, we're living in times where people are starting to realize certain things. And
that's right.
And it's funny because I was reading another article yesterday because when they announced that, the nearly $200 billion deficit, and they were actually comparing to how successful Quebec has been in the last 5-6 years, right? Since 2015. And they were mentioning this contrast in 2015 when Trudeau was elected, and they were asking him if they were going to follow the Quebec model, where it was more of an austerity environment in order to get things back on track and to stimulate economic growth in order to bring in revenue, et cetera, et cetera. And they were contrasting to what Trudeau was saying back in 2015, where he was practically mocking the Quebec government's approach and thinking, trying to tell people that that's the wrong approach. Fast forward, 6-7 years later, you're $200 billion in deficit, while the others are
and he might win the election again. And
profiting from the surpluses. Look, man, this is a tough situation. Of course, in a crisis, in this sort of crisis, whether you like it or not, down the line, when we're going to be thinking back to this crisis, you're going to have people like Legault, Trudeau, all the other provincial premiers that are going to come up as true leaders out of this, because that's what it is. People are looking towards these individuals to be motivated, to be to find some comforting news coming out, and this is what they're doing. Whether you like it or not, Trudeau's going to go down in history as a great leader because of the stance that he's taken in this crisis. Same thing for Legault.
We got to stop the interview now. We got to stop what you just said, dude. Oh my God.
No, but listen,
dude. If leadership came in the format of a Trudeau, dude, we're doomed.
I don't disagree with you.
We are doomed.
I'm just saying, in terms of perspective, you'll see down the line the same way that Lucien Bouchard is seen as a great leader because of the way he handled the ice storm back in '98. So there's all these elements that have nothing to do with politics that influence all these things. What I'm trying to say though is that back to that article. It was just funny how they had contrasted that you made a wrong decision. You didn't follow what was being done in Quebec, and you don't have to follow. It's not you're not obligated to follow what other provinces are doing. It's just that right now we're seeing the benefits of what happened here, and we're seeing how badly we're going to be situated for generations to come because of a policy taken back in 2015.
People have to understand that the economy is something very, very serious. And it's a Greek word. It means household finance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Ikogenia, economia. It starts from, so everything starts from home. If you have a household that is not in debt, makes enough money, goes to work, helps the economy, has enough to give, has enough to prosper, and you multiply this by 1 million times, you have a city that's prosperous. You multiply this by another 1 million times, you get a province that's prosperous. You multiply this by another 1 million times, you have a country that's prosperous. Okay, so everything starts from here. So governments are going to realize that when smarter people get in government and say, hey, we need to help people make better decisions at home, not put them into debt, not bail them out once they're in debt. There's no lesson learned once you've been in debt and somebody bailed you out, because you're going to go do it again. And a kid like Trudeau, who's a trust fund kid that never had to work for money and spending money, brings these habits into the global scale now. And we're seeing the detriment of it. You cannot act like that without a decrement in the economy.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is that people are realizing that. And soon enough, we're going to see through that. And with cryptocurrency and different other things that are going to come in place, you're not going to really rely on this stuff like that. Guys, I have another meeting. I missed it. At 11:30. I missed it by 10 minutes.
I have to go make pizza with the boys.
Oh, nice. We're doing. Oh, yeah. We want to do a cook-off with Alex. Me and Alex doing a cook-off, and Yerasim and my dad are going to be the judges.
Oh man, film it! All right,
we're doing this at night. Sorry, guys.
It's fine. Let's end it.
We went a little too political today, man. It just
we didn't even introduce the show.
I know. We just fell right into the conversation. So we'll end it. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
And Chris, you need to relax.
Oh, I'm very relaxed.
Bye, guys.
I'm the happiest guy you know, man.
Bye. Go cook. Bye.
Later, guys.